Today has been such an exciting day for us Zelda fans. After years of waiting, we finally got more information about the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is now called Tears of the Kingdom. Not only this, but we got a release date of May 12th, as well as a new trailer full of secrets and Easter eggs to go through frame by frame. Shortly after the trailer released, I did a live breakdown of this trailer, but this video will serve as a more condensed version of that video, as well as look into some details we missed during the live stream. So let's jump in. The trailer opens with a carving of this creature with large ears, and what appears to be a long neck fitted with lots of jewelry. It does sort of resemble the Lord of the Mountain from Breath of the Wild, but we'll come back to this carving in just a little bit. The trailer then changes to a different carving depicting a war between what appear to be Hylians, or maybe even the fabled Zonai tribe, facing off against Ganon's minions. A wave of red malice is shown spreading across the battlefield. The shields that the warriors are carrying sort of resemble the Skyloftian crest from Skyward Sword, but this may just be a coincidence. The shot then goes back to the creature we saw earlier, but a wider shot showing more details about the creature. Whatever it is appears to be human in nature with 7 tear-shaped symbols surrounding it. Maybe these are the Tears of the Kingdom from the game's title? The number 7 is very symbolic in the Zelda series. Ocarina of Time featured 7 sages that Link needed to save, and A Link to the Past had the 7 maidens. The creature appears to be on a pedestal with the clouds beside it. The dark lines pointing down almost seem like rain or rays of light pouring down from the sky. Maybe this creature is a form of deity showering the world with light? Off to the side there are some glyphs that as of now have not been translated into anything we can understand, furthering the proof that these markings were made by another tribe that has not been introduced yet or by the Zonai. Next we get this shot of a woman either falling down or floating up. I've seen theories online that this is Ganondorf, but I really think this is Zelda, or a past form of the princess. In the last real trailer we saw her falling down from a cliff, so maybe this marking is supposed to represent that? There's also malice creeping up from the bottom of the screen. Another shot shows what appears to be this same woman joining hands with another person just below 2 more of these tear-shaped designs. We'll come back to this shot later on in the video, but more of these glyphs are also seen on this side of the carving also. At this point we switch to actual gameplay of Tears of the Kingdom, starting with Link pushing open this colossal door with all sorts of markings and engravings on it. The most notable is the twin dragon heads making a circle around the door. This design is the same as used in the game's logo, featuring an Ouroboros with the 2 dragons presumably eating each other. Where Link is pushing the door open almost looks like an eyeball, as well as a similar circular pattern towards the top edges of the door, showing that wherever this structure is located could have had something to do with the Sheikah as well. As we transition to outside, Link climbs up a small set of steps adorned with this twin dragon motif as well. As we get a closer look at Link, we can see that this isn't the other version of Link that we've seen in previous trailers. The corruption that's going on with his right hand isn't as prevalent as it's been in other scenes, and he has a satchel with some mysterious green vials on his side. We speculated in the live breakdown that these may be magic potions that are used to activate Link's new abilities in the game. During one particular shot, you can see the back of Link's right hand showing this weird symbol on it. This area almost lines up perfectly with the orange part of the vials, almost like they slot in there or they interact with his hand from this spot. Just as he's about to jump, we see this familiar large structure off in the distance. This is most likely either a major point of interest or a dungeon. For this next little bit, I want to give a shout out to Zeltic for pointing out something really interesting way off in the distance. I had mentioned earlier that I thought there was something interesting going on in the top area off to the left, but I had no clue that there was an actual dragon flying off behind that cliff. According to him, this appears to be a brand new dragon, which is super exciting. As Link falls, he assumes his traditional Skyward Sword free-falling animation, but thankfully in this game there is a seamless transition between the sky and the ground instead of having to do loading screens. The next shot shows Link scaling this rock that is shooting back up into the sky. He's able to do this thanks to the new stasis ability that we had seen in a previous trailer. This seems to be one of the many ways that Link can travel back and forth from the ground to the sky. I wonder if this was a piece of one of the sky islands that fell to the ground, and by using this new stasis on it, it's rewinding time to send it back up to the sky. As Link travels up, we see not only just a massive amount of smaller sky islands to explore, but also this monstrous storm looming off in the distance, full of dark clouds, lightning, and looks almost like a tornado. There is another structure, or several other structures within this storm, so I'd assume that there's a dungeon lurking within. We move over to this other form of Link that we've seen in previous trailers. Link almost looks more primal here, with longer hair, a bone club on his back, and his arm being completely taken over by whatever he is cursed with. Notice here that he doesn't have the vials attached to his hip. Does this mean that he could be completely powerless here? Or at this point in time, can he just use these abilities whenever he wants to? I should point out that we don't know for sure if these vials are connected to Link's new magic hand, but green vials / bottles in the past have always equaled magic, so there is a connection to be made there. As we transition back to regular Link continuing his descent, we get a landscape shot of Hyrule's main landmass, featuring the castle erupting from the ground with malice. If you look farther off into the background though, you can see that Death Mountain is also erupting with malice, which is kind of freaky. Lurking way off in the distance in the top right is another massive sky island that I'm sure has some significance to it. On the ground right in front of the castle appears to be a green glyph carved into the ground here. God, there's so many sky islands off in the distance. There's so many places to explore. Wow. Link lands on this odd plane and continues to coast around Hyrule Field. No clue where this came from or how this part works. We'll have to wait and see on that one. There are a couple of interesting things though off in the distance. Starting off, there's a massive sandstorm brewing off in the mountains. I'd say it's safe to assume that there's another big dungeon area off in that way. As the camera pans down, we see this weird green glyph carved onto the top of the mountain. During the live breakdown, it was really difficult to figure out what this was supposed to be, but after looking online, we were just looking at this thing from the wrong perspective. After turning the video upside down, you can see that this glyph is again that creature or person from the opening of this trailer. As the title begins to come onto the screen, you can see this weird structure sticking out of the ground with the same spiral green stuff coming out of it like we saw in the first trailer. The title comes onto the screen featuring this Ouroboros design with the two dragons eating each other's tails, symbolic of the cycle of death, life, and rebirth, which holds a lot of meaning in the Legend of Zelda series. Could this hint that the curse first placed on Link and Zelda in Skyward Sword may be broken by the end of this game? Our final shot here shows the same image from earlier in the trailer featuring Zelda joining hands with someone, but from a further out perspective. The other person is the creature or person that we've seen present throughout this trailer. So our next big question is, who is this person? The growing theory is that this is none other than the goddess Hylia, joining hands with her future self to put an end to Ganon once and for all. Do you think that this is the goddess Hylia, or do you think that this is a completely new character to the Zelda series? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon with more Zelda Tears of the Kingdom content.